Good afternoon, ECCT. I'm here with you for another midweek devotion, continuing on through Paul's letter to the Philippians. Today we'll be looking at chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. So this is Philippians chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. So if there is any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. So this is a continuation of Paul's discussion of living a life that is worthy of the gospel of Christ. So that, God forbid, we do not disgrace the witness and the testimony of the gospel and Jesus through our bad behavior, right? And so one of Paul's main points and one of his suggestions for how to really live a life that is worthy of the gospel of Christ, and you'll see this come up in not only in this letter but other letters as well, but is this theme of unity. Having the same mind, being in full accord, having the same love, being of one mind. Now, I think if we just kind of reflect on it a little bit, we will understand that unity is so important in the church, because without unity, it really kind of discredits our gospel message, right? If God came to the world, came to mankind in Jesus Christ in love, in compassion for the salvation of all mankind, what does it say to that message if kind of people within the church and people who are supposed to be ambassadors for Christ cannot agree and actually start to have internal conflict and rivalries with one another? Maybe out of ambition, maybe out of a desire to be the leader, to be number one, to be in control, right? It looks really bad, basically, on the part of the gospel and the reputation of Christ is at stake, right? If the church does not show unity in the gospel message. And so that's why Paul emphasizes this, to be of the same mind and have the same love. Now, one thing that's important is unity does not necessarily mean uniformity. So these are two kind of slightly different concepts, slightly different words. We can express unity, but also have kind of slightly different attitudes or principles or beliefs when it comes to kind of the very small, fine details, right, of theology. But unity is kind of the overall attitude that Christians ought to have in the church and with one another when it comes to just the essentials, the gospel. And unity is often expressed in humility, right? People, that's why Paul kind of goes on to say, right, try and count others more significant than yourselves and look to the interests of others and not only your own interests. Because a big part of expressing and manifesting unity is understanding that we all are different and we might have different understandings of the finer details when it comes to the Bible, but at the same time we are united by a greater love and loyalty and devotion to Christ. And so that's what Paul signals here as one of the main ways we can live a life worthy of the gospel.